What's going on, folks? So today I'm going to be checking out the band called Eonia Rise, and the name of this song is Foresight. Now, they actually released a new album last month in May. I haven't listened to it yet because I've been wanting to do a reaction to this song here. So now that I'm finally doing that, I'll be able to listen to the album afterwards. But yeah, I'm very curious to see what they're bringing here. And yeah, without further ado, let's just give it a listen, shall we? Rangers, go. Pretty cool. I like that ending there. The way that they ended it was really tight. This song it has quite a bit of charm, and it's endearing, and I dig that aspect totally. The beginning of the song, I mean, it starts out with a wallop, like super symphonic and kind of bombastic and stuff like that. But we never really get that again, which, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's kind of a cool way to sort of set the stage for the song. And the fact that it doesn't come back like to that level, it's all right. At first I was kind of thinking I was waiting for it to happen again, but the fact it doesn't, to me, that doesn't really take away from the song. So, I mean, a really cool way. It definitely gets your attention right off the rip. Like, as soon as it started, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm paying attention to this. This sounds tight. And then you kind of get that main, like, guitar riff, which it's fun. It's got, like, kind of a playful sort of vibe to it. I like that main riff. The song itself, it has a good tempo. It really kind of keeps moving forward. But, well, with that being said, like, the tempo, I dig the pacing of the song as far as that goes. The one thing I'll say, I guess I'll just start with, is that I feel like the verses could be a little bit stronger. And as I was listening, I was trying to put my finger on it, and I think ultimately there's nothing necessarily wrong with the verses. Like, they're okay. Like, they're like neither here nor there. It's not like, oh, you hear the verses, it's like, oh, this isn't good. Or it's not like you hear the verses like, man, these verses are awesome. Like, they're solid enough. But what I feel like could have really strengthened this song is it feels like the verses kind of linger too long. And it, again, and this is why I kind of decided to talk about this first, is because I was mentioning the pacing of the song, which I like the tempo and stuff. But I feel like the verses kind of hold it back a little bit. Like, it feels like all of a sudden you're almost moving in slow motion, or it's like it's, the certain elements of the song feel like it's outpacing kind of just like the verses, and so you kind of feel like you're not moving like with the rest of the song. It's like, again, you're kind of lagging behind a little bit with the verses. And then once the chorus comes, I really like the chorus, how it starts to soar with the vocal melody and stuff, and her voice. I think she's got a really good voice. She's got a nice kind of like lower sort of register, but then can also go up into the higher register, like for the chorus and stuff, and also in the bridge, which I'll talk about as well. But then, so you get the chorus, and then you kind of get back into the verses. And another thing I feel like is, while I like that main guitar riff, the da 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 da, it feels like that also repeats a little bit too much. So between that and like the verses, it just feels like you're just waiting to get to the next spot, but it just feels like it overstays its welcome. Like, those sections just, they could be shortened, like made a little bit more concise, and I really think that would have helped the song pack more of a punch than the listener kind of feeling like they're just hanging out in the verses area. And then, like, all in, like, with the chorus, and then, the solo was great, and then the bridge and all that stuff. And what really kind of cemented that thought for me when I was listening to the song is, once you get the second chorus, and then you go into the solo, which killer solo. Really, really dug that guitar solo. And then you get like the bridge with the vocals, and I thought that was excellent. I really enjoyed that. And then it goes right into the final chorus. That whole part, starting from like the second chorus all the way up to the end of the song, I was like, this is great. Like, we're moving, like we're everything is just landing really well. It's moving like smoothly, and it's keeping the momentum up, and all of that stuff. And that's what was missing from everything prior to that, because I just feel like the verses and that kind of main guitar riff when it's just doing the riff without any vocals or anything like that, they're just too long. So if you kind of like halved both, like halved the amount of times that guitar riff is played on its own, and then halved like the verses, and just made it a bit more concise, I think that really would have helped the song, like I said, pack a bit more of a punch and just really move along smoother. And yeah, it just would have been really, really beneficial to the overall song and the listening experience itself. Because there's a lot that I like here. So yeah, I mean that's like the main thing there, and like I said before, I really like the chorus, a nice melody. I like her vocals there in the chorus. The guitar solo again was tight. Really really enjoyed that solo, and then her vocals in the bridge, and then that final chorus was cool, and then the way the song ends with kind of some riffs, and it's not too terribly long either, and you have some nice drum fills. That's another thing. I thought the drums did a really good job keeping the pacing for the song, and then there's some really nice fills, and the bass even too, like especially like in that main guitar riff, you can see the bass chugging along with that as well. So all the performances were really solid. For the most part, I really like the song, but it's just that one thing that it really keeps it to where I want to like the song more, but that's the only thing there that was kind of just keeping me from just really, really, really liking the song. So yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much it. Again, they have a cool sound, clearly a talented bunch, and a lot to really like about this song. So I'm super curious now to check out the album. That again, it's out now. I mean, they released it last month. So, but let me know, folks, in the comments down below. What do you think of this song here? Did you dig it? Or are you going to go listen to the new album? Let's talk about it in the comments, and I'll catch you next time, Ranger. Out.